Good morning, guys, and I just wanted to, normally I do an intro, but today we're starting a new series. So this is the Minecraft Lively series. So let's get into the intro. Missing someone. Right, I'm back, and don't mind me, we don't have a bridge over to the animals yet, and if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just checking which dogs need to go where, like what pens and stuff. So I reckon that the best dog for the stables is Isabella. She is very good at herding animals, and these horses sometimes like to get out, and sometimes if I'm doing something like mugging out, they'll manage to get their way out. So Isabella, I reckon, would be the perfect one for this. And for people just that are going to be like, oh, why are you having your dogs in the stables and stuff? It's because they're not only guard dogs, but if any of them gets out, like any of the animals, the dogs are trained to herd them. And lucky for me, all my dogs love water. Like, they swim all the time, rain, shine, snow, ice, whatever. So that's really good for me to transport them all. And if they get changed once a month and I go, they get to drink the water, and I feed them every single day. And I've just tried out this new, pen thing where my animals are going to sit in their little kennels. But unfortunately, the poodles are slightly too big, so they just sit in a pen. And don't mind me, I'm just checking which barrel is for which dog, so I can put their name tag above it and what they're doing. So, they, in their little barrels, they have their dye for their sign because they're colour coordinated. And if you guys were wondering what all those kennels are when we were walking in, those are for my foster animals. So the shelter just down in the village over there comes and drops off the extra shelter dogs and cats that they can't have there anymore because there's no more room. So that's why they're, and I have a massive underground part, and sometimes I use them for, if I need an extra dog on hand, they will be trained and become my dog. So yeah, so I'm just grabbing Isabella now. She's a Beagle mix. And she is really good because she's small, and which means she can fit in all the pens, and if any of them gets out, she can just climb over. And yeah, and if any of you guys are like, why are you tying her up? It's on a long lead, so it expands when she runs, and it's just for now, and I'll go untie them soon, but it's just for now as I can't be looking at them every 2 seconds to watch them, because dogs are dogs. They've got their own brain. We can't control them. This is Isabella's favourite part of the moving process when she's in the outdoor stables. It's the jumping, but first she gets a treat. She gets a treat before she has to jump in the water. And before, she just snuck off because I didn't want her on the lead. Well, I jumped in the water just in case anything did happen, but it turns out it would happen. She likes to run off. So we swam, and she absolutely loves swimming. So I'm just taking her into the horse pen now. She's really good with horses, and the horses seem to love her. Because sometimes when I go on trail rides, I bring one of the dogs. And it's raining outside, so I do not really want to tie her outside, even though there's shelter. I really do not want to tie her outside. So I'll tie her inside, and if she gets over the fence, I'll pull her out. So let's see how this goes. So here I'm just testing if she can get over. She definitely can. And it seems she's all going fine until this happens. So I ended up moving her outside. So you'll see that. She just looks at me like, Mom, why can't I stay with Tiana? Because Tiana's I reckon, her favourite horse. She always comes onto our life, and it's Tiana. And if anyone's wondering, yes, she's named after Disney princess. I'm just checking which horses I have because I also got shelter horses too. And all the horses that I have are mine at the moment. All the animals I have except for the foster animal area, they're mine. So I haven't had any shelter horses for a while because they drop them off too, but they just leave them in a little section. And if they've got any dogs or cats, they put the cats in there, and then the horse just roams in this little section here, as you'll see. And so it's kind of hard to choose which dog, but it's normally they all rotate, so they all get to go in a different pen each month. So that's really good, and it's really good for their exercise, because if they're with the other dogs, they play. If they're outside, they're herding. So Rocket, he is really good with the bigger dogs because he can handle them more. And if you guys are wondering why don't you have any chihuahuas or anything, it's because I'm trying to find somewhere where I can put them, because I've got 3 foster chihuahua dogs, and if I'm going to adopt one of them, I have to adopt all of them, and I don't really have enough pens for 3 of them. But I've got some pens in the making, and the village also said they'd love some help, with some dogs. So they said if I have an overload of foster dogs, they'd be more than happy to take one and have it serve the village. See, this is all my foster dogs in the big breed cage, and it's quite a lot. And I can't, for some reason, tame the Dalmatians. The mod that I have is just not working at all, so I can't tame the Dalmatians. But the rest of the dogs I can. But there's a glitch. Every time I spawn the dogs, they glitch. Even if it's not a Dalmatian, it'll spawn 2 Dalmatians with it. And that is not part of the role play. That's just a disclaimer. Alright, so now I'm getting I was trying to untie her because they're just chilling in the pen, and when I try to grab multiple, they will run out if they're not tied. So I'm just getting Lilla for the small dog pen, because the small dogs love her. All the chihuahuas absolutely adore her. So I've got, if anyone's wondering what animals I have, dogs, I have 4 poodles, 1 beagle, 1 Rottweiler, and 2 huskies. And I'm hoping to add some more to the collection as well. So I'm hoping to get some chihuahuas in for the chicken pen, and some for the village. I've got to drop them off either today or tomorrow, so I'll record that too. And as you'll see, she disappeared, but it turns out she was just stretching her legs, so understandable. And I don't want to have any dogs in the foster part, where you drop them off before they go in the pen, because sometimes if there's a horse, they're not very used to dogs, so that's why we don't leave them in there. And then she decided that she's really scared of this door for some reason. She'll just sit there and just pretend she can't get through. She really can. As you'll see in a minute, she'll just get straight through. And before I drop each dog off, I'll give them their dinner. But if they're in the foster pen, they've got food and water constantly, because the puppies and stuff have it. But if they're in the horse pen, chicken pen, or anything, I just go give them some food. But I'm not going to show you that, because every time I do it 2 times a day, and I don't think you want to see that all the time. As you can see, she just walks straight through, and she is going in the Chihuahua pen, because I don't have any other small dogs at the moment being dropped off, so it's mainly Chihuahuas. I've got 3. I've got Angus, Mimi, and Nan, as in Nan bread. For a second I thought I lost Nan, and I started to panic, and I'm where did you go? And don't mind me, I just grabbed some fences from my backpack because I have to tie them up, like I said earlier. See, I start to panic and run around. I'm doing all the kennels. So I've got the other two, and then I walk around and she shows up. So, yeah. And they love the poodles. The chihuahuas love the poodles, and the poodles love the chihuahuas, because poodles, their fur isn't really meant for outside, because I have to groom them like 100 times or shave them. So I might have to shave a few of them, but because it's going into winter, I'm going to try and keep them inside. But as you'll see, sometimes I just have to go outside because I can't accompany like all their coat needs. Like, of course, I'm going to groom them more often. So, but if they're outside, so I'm just doing a little name tag, and I have to redo Rockets because it makes it really hard if I just don't specify what pen. And so this is why I do all these like name tags and like stuff up here, because that way it's easier for me to like know which pen, so I'm not running around all the pens trying to look for one dog when I can just look. And they're all color coordinated, like I've said. If you guys have any names at all, please comment them down below, and I'll make like a wall of names, because I get often lots of foster dogs and foster cats that don't have a name, and horses and any other animal that do not have a name. So I really need some name suggestions. I'm open to any at all, food related. Just don't make it like inappropriate or anything, because I have little kids and their families coming to get the dogs, and because the shelter, they will sometimes send, if there's like no people suited, they send over some of the families to come look at dogs and cats. But most of the time I use them for my needs. Like for the barn, I'll have a cat just to get rid of the rodents, and because they absolutely love it in there and they would prefer to not be in a pen. So I'm just working on getting some cats now, because I've got a few in the foster thing. But so yeah, the next time you see me, the whole thing I would probably be for like the drop-off center, because the shelter's really, really full. So we might have to go make a trip to get some animals manually, because they don't always have the time to come and drop them off. And as you can see, I got a little worried, and then she refused to jump, so I just grabbed her again. She jumped down on the lower levels, and then we went out, and she is going in the mule and the donkey pen, because same reason as the horses, they need herding sometimes, and there's foxes and stuff that can harm them often. So she's just there to herd them away from the thing. And keep in mind, they alert me any single time there's a mob, like they'd bark, whine, whatever, because I want to try and save as many animals as I can from getting injured. And these donkeys and mules, they're not trained yet, and some of them are in retirement or going into our breeding program. So yeah, that would be great. And I've also got my sister on this server, and she's just building a house just on the island next to mine, so she might come and get some donkeys or horses, because I've got the pen at the back, as you'll see. That is where all my horses that are going to be in programs, lessons, or going to be on sale. Whereas the horses in the stall, they have more of a permanent fixture. And the ones in the paddock with the big open lake thing, they're mine as well. I'm keeping them. So as you'll see, most of the time my animals are kept by me or going to be used in any programs. So yeah, as you'll see, I'll go to bed, because it's very tiring work running a ranch and farm and everything in general. So credits to those who do. And I just have to work on getting like the Sky in her pen. I'm not so concerned about the other poodles because they are really just there for company, because sometimes I go with the other dogs, sometimes I don't. So yeah, and if they go with like on their own, they're with other animals that they really do like. And as you can see, Sky was like, please no, don't put me in there. She wants to go with the dogs like her brother Rocket, but she's going in the kitten pen. So if you guys have any name suggestions for any of the dogs that I get in, I'm going to the shelter tomorrow and I'll record that, of course, and you guys can see it too. So I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Make sure to comment down some name suggestions below. Please like and subscribe as it helps me do all these episodes and series. And thank you so much for supporting my channel. It really does help with, it gives me more motivation to record episodes, series, etc. So please have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Adios.